Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about the A1 Trend Scanner, and this is really exciting for me. This is a software tool that we've been working really hard to create and get ready for you guys. This tool is basically a tool that is designed to help find better pullback setups in trends without taking so much of your time. This is something that I designed honestly partially for myself because I am a trend trader. I love the idea of finding pullback setups and things like that, but instead of sitting there and looking over the charts for hours and hours and hours, I find it a lot easier to have software assist me in finding better setups. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking to you about this big thing that you see on the screen, about what it does, how it works, and then a way that you can get it if you would like to. So the first thing I want to say is that the idea behind why I wanted to get this tool ready and created is because a lot of times as a trader, it's spent waiting, right? There's a lot of waiting in any sort of trading because you're looking for the right setups and you're sort of taking the time to not just jump into any trade that comes your way. Well, for me, a big part of that is like, okay, if I'm gonna wait for my setups, instead of just sitting there looking at the chart waiting, why don't I have some form of software help me find setups that could be much better, right? So that takes a lot of my time away from the chart. So what I want to show you guys first is before you see all these signals going on and all the different alterations, we're gonna look at that, but let me show you first what this tool is actually looking for, and then I think you'll understand a little bit more behind what all these signals are doing. Okay, so let's look at a chart. You guys know that I am a trend trader. If you've been watching my content for a while, you know that is sort of my style. I look for pullback entries, I look for continuation style trading, and what I'm generally looking for is I'm looking for a market that looks like it has healthy momentum to the upside or downside, right? And so what I wanted this tool to do is, number one, there's two really main things that it scans for. Number one is a strong trend, right? Obviously, if I'm a trend follower, I want to be finding trends that are strong to one direction or the other. So that's the first thing. How do I do that? Well, what I use is 3 moving averages. And these moving averages, by the way, on the tool are configurable to whatever you would like to be using. This tool is built for any time frame. It's built for any setting that you want within what we're going to talk about here. So the first one is I want to find a strong trend. How do I find a strong trend? I use 3 moving averages. Right now, I have it set to 20, 50. So I'll actually write this out: 20, 50, and the 100 moving average. And all I am doing here is I'm looking to see that all 3 moving averages are lining up to the upside or to the downside if it was a downtrend, right? So if we go over here, right, you can see it's sort of bundled. They're all sort of twisted and tangled. Like, that is not really what I'm looking for. I am looking for scenarios like this where you have strong demand for a market. All 3 of the moving averages can't help but to line up as things trend higher. That's what I'm looking for, first of all. Second of all, I mentioned that I like to buy discounts and buy pullbacks, right? So I don't want to be buying, here. I'd like to be buying somewhere like this, right? I'd like to buy the pullback. I'd like to buy the dip. And so I need something that can help me find that dip. Well, that's where this big thing down here at the bottom of the screen is. This is the relative strength index. It is a fairly simple indicator. If you haven't heard of it before, it's pretty straightforward. It just measures. You can look up the calculation online if you'd like, but it basically measures the strength of the recent price action. So what you'll notice is that as prices are coming down, usually you see the RSI follow, right? And when you have strong dips, the RSI gets very steep as well. So me as a pullback trader, this is a tool that I can use to help find better setups just generally. Now, by the way, this alert system is going to produce a form of signals in the form of like MetaTrader alerts. So you'll get alerts that can pop up on your screen, or you can get it to send you an email. There's all sorts of different ways to configure that. But so what I'm saying here is, as price is starting to trend higher, the first thing the thing looks for is the trend. We mentioned that. The number 2 thing is actually a pullback. Okay, and to measure a pullback, this is where the RSI comes in. What I'm looking for is, number 1, is the trend valid? If yes, okay, cool. Number two is there a pullback, right? So we asked the question, is there a pullback? And now what the robot is going to do, or the indicator is going to do, is it's going to look for situations in which the RSI has reached a oversold or overbought status. In this case, only going to look for oversold status, because we don't care if it is, overbought, because we're already trending up. We don't want to buy the highs. We want to buy dips, right? So if I'm looking to buy dips, I'm looking for instances where price is coming and tagging underneath this RSI oversold status, which by default is set to 30 for oversold, and 70 for overbought. So now what this thing is doing is it's looking for both of these scenarios to marry up, and then it's going to produce a signal on our thing, right? So this would be a situation, this would be a situation, and this would be a situation in which, and also this one, these are situations in which we would have gotten a signal to potentially look for long setups, right? And that is the main idea behind what I'm looking for with this tool. So let's go look at the tool once more with our newfound interest. You can actually see here's an example right in front of our faces of a nice trend that was forming on the USD Swiss franc. Price came right on down to that lower limit, and then you can see actually it kind of popped up from there. So this is a trade that I'm in currently, so I just figured maybe it was worth talking about. But we can switch the time frames around. Let's say you're not looking short term. Let's say you're looking at the 30-minute chart. Suddenly you can see different charts that sort of pop up here. For example, we look at Euro Swiss franc. This is giving us right now a trend signal that this is bearish, and a signal that it is a potential sell. Now this doesn't mean that it's time to just go all in short on the Euro Swiss franc. What this is telling us is that it's meeting our criteria. Remember, here is a sell version of what we just talked about. You have a 200 period, in this case, we're using the 100, the 50, and the 20. By the way, you can change this right here. I'll show you that in a second. You've got the 100 and the 50 and the 20 all headed in the same direction. Things are looking very, very bearish. And then you've got the RSI topping up overbought, right? Which we had 70 and 30 marked over here in the configurations, right? So very cool stuff. It is printing an alert that maybe it's time to look at short setups on the Euro Swiss franc, right? Now, this is where the rest of your technical analysis comes in. You could potentially set up your levels. You could look for a trade. If you like price action, you could be looking for candlestick patterns. But this thing is going to, instead of looking at all of these charts, right? All you had to do was come right over here, click this button, it switches the chart for you. Now you're looking at the right chart, and there you go. You've got a strong trend, right? And you're looking at a potential pullback play. That's the cool thing about this tool, is it takes a lot less time. Here on the 1 hour chart, we can see, so let's say that this is, printing that we've got GBP, JPY looking potentially bearish here. Okay, you've got a market that's trending. There we go. All three moving averages lined up, and the RSI is topping up, showing that, hey, this thing's looking a bit extended upwards, and we are in the context of a strong downtrend. Maybe there's an opportunity to look to get short and to ride this thing lower, right? So it takes out all the headache of scanning charts with your eyes all day long, and just sort of sets everything up here and just prints here whenever something is happening. It tells you in the form of some form of a signal, right? You get the trend. So all the rest of these, like for example, if we looked at Aussie Swiss or Aussie CAD, these might not meet all the criteria. Here's Aussie Swiss, which is looking close, right? But it doesn't quite have that overbought reading. So there's no need to look at this chart yet based on the criteria here, right? If this thing tops up a little bit more, maybe it pops up into that range where we could see a signal produced. But, you look at things like dollar CAD, this thing looks pretty good, but not quite oversold yet, right? NZD CAD, this one's a little bit, a little bit far off since it's oversold right now. And then if you looked at silver, right, you've got this thing sort of tangled. This is not really interesting. But if it starts to trend, then we might get a signal. And this is, again, something that you can do on any time frame. You can see there's no trade alerts right now for the 4 hour chart. We go down to the 5 minute. Usually you see a lot of action here. There we go. So we can look at Aussie New Zealand. So this is good for both day traders and for swing traders. This is not something that is, specific only for, one side of the coin. So actually, you can see we just had a retest here. There may have been an opportunity to go long there. So that's the whole idea behind this tool. Okay, so I mentioned also that you can configure some things here. Let's say that I want to change the RSI period. I have it by 7. That's just what I like. But if you go 14, you're going to probably get less signals, but maybe they're more over, longer term oversold or overbought. So here it says XAG USD is looking oversold. So we can look here and there it is, right? So there is the idea. We have an oversold market here on the moving averages. And so that's sort of the concept, is just looking for whatever you would like to look for. On the 30-minute chart, there's nothing. 1 hour, there's nothing. 4 hours, there's nothing. So then we can also change, we can change the moving averages, right? So let's say that I wanted to do a little bit slower of a moving average setting. So let's say 50, 100, and 200, right? So now we can adjust that. And then I'm actually going to, just so you can see it, I'm going to visually change this as well. So we'll go 200, we will go 100, and then we'll go 50. So maybe you're a little bit more looking for a slower set of moving averages for your trend, right? Then that's totally fine. We can see here, we just adjust things here, and now we've got a whole new set of interesting concepts. So we're looking at the RSI 7, and we're looking at the moving averages, and then you can see it pops up all these new alerts. You can see GJ is also of interest here, according to our new settings as well. So we do see GJ popping up quite a bit. There may be a sell trade that is looking interesting, right? Again, all going with the trend. So CAD Swiss here, popping up just a bit and showing a possible clue that, hey, we might be looking top heavy here. Pound Swiss, right? Same thing, popping up above, and also the moving averages are lining up. And then we can go to different time frames. Like I said, USD JPY looking like it may be time for some sell side action. And again, giving you that option to go look at it yourself just at the click of a button. So for me, this is pretty game changing. And there's a couple things that I want to say also about these sort of tools. I don't like tools that sort of dominate your chart and you can't see anything. So we did make it so that you can minimize this and keep it like well out of view. You can put it wherever you want. It is way, it has all the abilities to just sort of keep it on your chart when you want it and off your chart when you don't, so that you can do all your charting and things like that, and it doesn't get in your way. We're really excited about this tool. This is something that I think is going to be a huge help to myself and to a lot of people who are looking for setups that are trend traders and looking to take less time to actually go through and sort of stare at charts, because again, if you were going through this chart, look at this, you would be going through 1 chart, 2 charts, 3 charts, 4 charts, 5 charts. You'd be going through so many charts before you ever saw this criteria manually until you found one. So for me, it's much easier just to say, okay, well, I'll set up this software, it'll sit on my chart, and anytime I come to my computer, right, bam, I've got my gold trade, which I am currently long in, by the way. We'll see if I get stopped out. But, the point here is, whenever you're taking a trade, whenever you're looking for trades, it's a process and it takes up your time. So if you can find a way to find, number one, better setups, right? You get better setups and less time. To me, that makes trading even better, because you're sitting there, okay, I'm not spending all my time doing this, and I'm also finding better setups. To me, that is the golden rule there, is spend as little time and find the best setups. Like that's the best thing, in my opinion, for if I'm going to be trading. So with that said, guys, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you're interested in this offer. If you would like to get it, there's a link down below in the description. You can sign up, or actually not sign up, but you can go to our website there and just pay there for the tool. It is not something that's free. Again, like I said, we put in a lot of time to build this software and to prepare it and create all the guidelines and things like that. But if you would like a copy, we've made it as affordable as possible. You can check out the information down below in the description. Click that link. It'll take you to a page where you can get a download. You download it right away, put it on your chart. It takes like 2 seconds to put on there, and you are off to the races. So with that said, guys, if you would like the tool, like I said, the link is down below in the description. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back in the next one.